everyone. Am I audible? Okay. So I was thinking we should try to do something for, especially during a pandemic like this, because it is very difficult for many people. Some of them are really finding it difficult, to even have a next meal. I think ma'am is there. I'll just check. Yes. I think she's there. I'll just add her quickly.
Talking with us today. So she was awarded for being one of the 50 outstanding women. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, good
I was
evening.
just giving you an introduction. So I'll just make it very short. So she is the founder of Mind and Wellness Studio. She is currently the relationship expert on Ishq 104.8 FM on a program called Love Hacks. So we'll quickly jump into the questions since ma'am is time constraint. Okay, ma'am. So thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much for having me over. Thank you, Varisha and Switch India.
Okay, ma'am. So my first question is how to maintain a long distance relationship now that due to the quarantine it's mostly just video calling. But let's say there's a person who says they spend a lot of time video calling the partner, and they say they're completely okay with that. But is it unhealthy? What do you think on that?
So, long distance relationships can be a bit tough to maintain, obviously so. But having said that, there are now the world has become a much smaller place with so much available, so much of technology available, so much available with respect to, for example, video calling, FaceTiming, and so on and so forth. So long distance relationships can be made very workable also, and we are also seeing in our day-to-day practice that the long distance relationship is certainly becoming quite workable.
Okay, they ask me, is it unhealthy? They're spending a very long time on video calling each other. They're completely okay with that, but they're worried if it is unhealthy.
So it's not unhealthy like that. It depends if you're able to sustain the relationship. That becomes
Okay.
most important. The sustenance of the relationship becomes very, very important. Because at the end of the day, it's rather important to have a relationship which is very sustained. So how do we make that happen? We make that happen with, of course, some amount of physical meetings also become a must, Varsha, because so people who are in long distance relationships, it's great if once in a while they kind of meet up, they plan. If they're in different cities in India itself, then it obviously becomes a lot easier because you can plan them, meetings a little more often. But yes, there are many people who've gone abroad to work or study, so it's across countries that becomes a little difficult. But having said that, it is important if both people can kind of stay connected, it is very, very important. So it is workable and it's not something to get too worried about. But
Okay.
yes, if it goes on for years, then it can be a little tough to maintain.
Okay. So the next question is, how do we deal with insecurity? Let's say there's this person who's scared that they might break up with them if they find
Yeah.
someone who is better.
Okay, so sorry, go on.
Yeah, how to deal with insecurity? Let's say there's this person who is constantly scared that the other person may break up with them if they find somebody better. Maybe it's
Well,
just in the
that's
head,
not
but
a
how?
very that. Okay, so Varisa, that's not something very healthy, obviously, for a
Yes.
relationship, because that very clearly means that the relationship, the foundation is not very strong.
Okay.
Because if the relationship foundation is strong, then we should not feel very insecure with our partners. And if you are feeling like that, then that means the trust factor of the relationship needs to be worked out.
Okay. So, what about a relationship with a huge age gap? Let's say the girl has to get married soon because of this issue. So, someone is worried about giving up on their career a little soon. Not giving up, but less focus on career. So, what do you have to say on that?
Yes, so obviously, age gap. So, sorry, you said the age gap, right? I
Yes.
can't hear you. Okay, so yes, sometimes age gap there could be age gaps, large age gaps. So sometimes in fact it can be is round. There are sometimes the reverse also. Otherwise, we always expect that it's always going to be a woman who's way younger, but that's not necessarily
Yes.
the case nowadays. Also, it could be the other way around also. it does become sometimes a little difficult to match age gaps, but it's all about the intellect. So if both of you are able to match your intellect and work with each other, why not? So, relationships are made of many ingredients, right? So we have in the relationship we have a physical compatibility. We also have intellectual compatibility. We have a emotional compatibility. All these are there. So if for instance, if you feel that your intellectual compatibility, emotional compatibility, and physical compatibility is there, in spite of the age group being large, so there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So there are also concerns about early marriage. What do you have to say on that?
What do you mean by early marriage?
Let's say the person is not ready for the marriage yet, but is being forced to, just because the other person can't wait for a longer time, something like that.
No. So are you saying that means the marriage is being done? You mean the duration of the courtship is lesser? That's not an
No.
early marriage.
Okay. No, I meant like, let's say there's this person who's in the early 20s and another person in the early 30s. So the person in early 30s can't wait any longer, maybe
That
because
way.
of other
So,
issues. Yeah.
so it all depends if your relationship is fulfilling enough. If your relationship is a relationship which is a grounded and fulfilling relationship, why not then go for it?
Okay. Other questions are, what is your take on multiple relationships? Let's say if one is stuck in it. Let's say a person is dating somebody simultaneously and they're stuck in it. They don't know how to make choices. How to help with that?
So those are two different questions. One is you said, what
Okay.
about multiple relationships? So, multiple relationships are not good at all because, we should look at monogamy. Monogamy is what gives us all grounding, stability, and happiness in a relationship. So, one is that at one point of time, we are in different relationships in different forms. For example, emotionally, physically. Sometimes people say, oh, emotionally, I'm in a relationship with someone. Someone says, physically, I'm in a relationship. That doesn't work.
Okay.
So it is important that we give all the ingredients of a relationship to one person, or mostly all of it to one person. So multiple relationships are not professed, but yeah, sometimes otherwise, if we mean by multiple relationship that a person has been through multiple relationships, that's a separate question altogether.
Okay, that was my next question. But how do they make a choice? Like, since they are with more than one person, let's say simultaneously, anything that you would like to talk on that?
How do they make a choice? It all depends on what is the person's expectation of a relationship. So, for
Okay.
example, my expectation of a relationship, I may want the emotional quotient very high. Maybe for you or somebody else, they may want the physical or the sexual quotient very high. So it all depends. So it is very individualistic.
Okay. So,
That
like
I
you
need.
said, what about casual relationships? Let's say like more than one relationship, and why do they get bored easily? And it's very changing. Previously, we didn't have this concept of a fleeting relationship. Now it is very common. So, what do you have to say on that?
Yes, that is very true because somewhere or the other that the it is very very important that to understand that we need to have a ground with a particular person that establishes a relationship. So the love, trust, compatibility, all these are factors which bring the relationship together. So if we have very many relationships, fleeting relationships, one after the other, then those relationships we definitely need to make sure that those relationships are, I mean, we can imagine if one relationship, we are going through one relationship after the other. So it'll be for some particular time. So those are not very stable and they are also not very deep relationships. They're not very meaningful relationships. So what happens is the person would be getting from one to the other to the third or to the fourth or many. There has to be some concern there.
Okay. There's another question that says people are scared of giving a commitment. They're not sure if this is the correct person or not the one. Also, it is also because they say that they don't want to settle for less in case that person or the other person can do better in another relationship, so why risk it and why commit so soon? This is a
So
common thing that,
commitment is a very powerful word, and commitment is what we require in a relationship, isn't it? Because if we are looking at a deep relationship, which is a long lasting relationship, how is that going to be a deep relationship if the commitment is not there? So
true.
commitment is really needed.
Okay. So what if somebody is suppressed? Someone is dominating the other person. What is your advice on that?
What would you mean? Someone is
And
suppressed.
as in, let's say there is a relationship and one person dominates the other person a lot, and they're not able to make decisions on their own, but they don't want to go out of the relationship either because they feel that they're more comfortable here. Can
See,
you
at
hear
the
me?
end of
Hello, ma'am, are you there?
yeah, I actually your screen is frozen, so I didn't know if you're
Yeah.
there.
Yes, I just came back online now. Ma'am, please continue talking.
Yeah, so you can come again on the question, please.
Yes, I was asking, let's say one person is very dominant and the other person feels suppressed, but they're very scared to go out of the relationship because they are very physically or mentally attached. Ma'am, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes, ma'am. So, did you get the question?
No, I couldn't because your voice went off after half the
Okay.
question.
Yeah, no problem. So, I was asking, is it clear now so that I can start speaking?
Yes, ले जाए.
Yes.
Hmm.
So let's say there's one person is being dominant and the other person is being suppressed, but they don't want to get out of the relationship because they're very attached to that person. What do you have to say about this?
So if it is a toxic relationship, is that what you're asking? Because a lot of relationships there will be somebody who would be, little more dominating than the other. So are you asking about a toxic relationship? Because the question
No,
is not.
I'm not asking about a toxic relationship. I'm asking about how to handle when one person dominates. Let's say they tell you
Okay.
what to do and what not to do.
Okay. So what happens is they somehow, please understand, all relationships work on a very simple mantra, which is love.
Mm-hmm.
So express themselves to the other person.
Okay, ma'am. So, very
So
important
why
question.
expression and telling your partner what exactly you feel becomes very important.
Okay, ma'am. So there is something that is very important that I want you to talk about. So what is the sign that your partner is cheating on you? How to confront them? And what should I do about
Okay.
it?
Yeah, it's very sad, when people undergo cheating.
Yes.
It's extremely sad because, a person who becomes cheated on, it is a very sad, concern for them. So partners, you can see the change in behavior. Some of the red alert signs are that you see a change in behavior of your partner.
Okay.
Your partner's behavior is not the same anymore with you. Then you also see your partner starts hiding things from you. You pick up small lies. putting passwords on the phone or on other devices, right?
Okay.
And otherwise, let's say they never had passwords and now suddenly they have passwords, right? All those things, putting passwords and kind of hiding, lying where they are going or coming, and sometimes you catch them. Sometimes someone saying,
Okay.
I'm in office, and you call the office and the person's not there. So these are few of the signs. But I think most importantly is the fact that taking the attention away.
Okay. So how do you confront them? How do you go ask them, are you cheating on me or something like that? Like you can't
So,
directly.
like I said, one of the most important things, like I said about relationships, is that you need to be very, very, it's very important to have a conversational relationship. This is what I said earlier also, that communication is the key ingredient for a good relationship. So please develop your relationship with your partner. So, for example, if you feel that your partner is cheating on you, or you're feeling like that, you should have a conversation. Should not be waiting forever. You should have a conversation.
Okay. What is your take on premarital sex? How good or bad an option it is?
So there is nothing good or bad in it, but it's just that so culturally, of course, as Indians, premarital sex is not professed. But in the West, it has always been a very common practice where people don't, have an issue. But having said that, if we look at sex as an extension of love, so it is in some cases, if both parties are okay about it, if there's mutual consent and they're okay about how they're okay to bear the repercussions. So, for example, if that relationship doesn't convert into marriage and if they are okay about it, then there's something which they'll have to see to bear the repercussions.
Okay. So what is something called premarital counseling? What does it include? How significant it
Yeah.
is and who
Okay.
should undertake it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Varuso, because premarital counseling is extremely important nowadays. So it's as good as how we say that, people match their horoscopes. So it's as important where people are sitting today to match, their premarital counseling, like where you sit together for 2 sessions, 3 sessions, sometimes with your counselor, where you sit down and you discuss with them all your aspects about your premarital concerns. So there could be few things, especially which you may not be able to discuss openly with each other, especially let's say if it's an
Okay.
arranged marriage. Yeah, or even if it's a love marriage, we find that a lot of things are, people find it won't she get it? What does she, if she's earning, where is she supposed to put her money? Will she be able to give it to her parents? So these are very delicate questions. Second
Yes.
aspect is about the, whether are you staying with the in-laws, you're not staying with the in-laws, and if you are, or if you, what is your expectation as a bahu, as a daughter-in-law? What is your expectation as a wife? Some people also have sexual questions which they find it very awkward to ask the
Yes.
partner directly. So it becomes very nice to have
We're having a lot of issues with connection. Should I reconnect both of us so that we can pause the
I
session?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. If you're comfortable with it, then we'll go ahead.
I'm okay. Yeah, I can't
Okay.
see you, but it's okay.
It's okay for you? Okay. Then.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes.
So, what should they be prepared? Like, let's say before getting married, are there any checklists that the couples must, tick off or something?
Not really, but yes, few things are very important. So, like I said, division of household chores that becomes very, very important.
Yes.
Finances, who's going to take care of what? A little bit of future planning. What about children? When do both parties expect to have children? When would they like to have children or not like to have children? Then, like I said, even some sexual concerns, if you may have, that becomes important. Very importantly, concerns with in-laws, that becomes very important, how to deal
Okay.
with. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, like you said, when is it a good time to have a child? And people say that your problems would get resolved when you have a child. What do you have
So
to say on that?
every couple should know when they would like to have a child. But yes,
Okay.
this is yeah, because that's their own mutual understanding and decision. Some people want to have a child within the first year of marriage, although we always say that wait for at least 2 years
Yes.
till you know each other well enough and you're settled in with each other's families, etc. So that's one aspect. But having said that, there is a age-old kind of a saying earlier. Earlier elders used to say, oh, if people are having trouble in their marriage, then they would say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, have a child and it will get okay. That's not correct at all, because
Yeah.
with the fact that children are somewhere, it becomes very very important. It's children are not the answer to your marriage troubles,
Okay. So it is a
because
very difficult. Yes, ma'am.
children are not the answer to the troubles of your marriage. So you have to first make your marriage foothold very strong and then
Mm-hmm.
think about having a child. The child will not come and resolve your issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes fine. There's another question that says it's a very difficult step to file for divorce. But how to take such decisions and convince
Sorry,
yourself
it's
that
a difficult step to,
to file for a divorce?
yeah.
So how to take such decisions, even if you know that it is the best for you, it's very difficult to convince yourself after you've been in a long marriage.
Actually, that's a very difficult question to answer also, because
Okay.
divorces are very difficult. And
Yes.
however toxic the relationship or non-toxic, there are various reasons for divorces. But
Okay.
divorces are extremely difficult, yeah. So it's not, a person cannot overnight make a decision, get up and say, oh, I'm going to have a divorce. It doesn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll go to the next question. It says, what if I find my partner to be a homosexual? What do I do then?
What if I find my
Partner to be homosexual.
Yeah, that can be really challenging if you discover that your partner is homosexual or bisexual. What happens is that a lot of times you may just discover these things. No, it's obviously it's like
Yes.
that. So many people have different ways to deal with it. Counseling is one of the best ways to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think this is something you can sit with even families to discuss what to do. See, homosexuality is not a disease, but at
Okay.
the end of the day, homosexuality is also person is kind of, their orientation is like that. So you can't force them that now they must become heterosexual. So usually the marriages obviously don't last, because they are going to effectively, either they choose to stay in the marriage and like just a way of friends or companionship, or else they just choose to just, kind of separate. But counseling becomes must in a case like that.
Okay. So there's another question that says, what to do when a person is overly invested in a relationship and the other partner is not?
Yes, so it's very partner being over and the other will never work. It has to be balanced out. So it is not nice to be overly invested. It's better to be invested in yourself, be personally
Okay.
understanding what you need to do. Yeah.
Okay. So how to deal with situations when your partner chooses other people over you? I think it is more like when your partner chooses to support his or her friend rather than you.
Well, you need to, like I said, communication is the key. If you're feeling unsupported by your partner, or if you're feeling that the partner is not willing to discuss things with you, you definitely need to discuss things with your partner.
Okay. So
You
if
need to tell him or her that you're not feeling supported enough, and a lot of
Mhm.
things can be resolved by communication. And also sometimes people, because of insecurity, feel jealous that
sorry, ma'am, I couldn't hear the last part, but have you finished answering the question so that I can move on to the next one? I'm very sorry about my connection.
Yeah, this is the last question we'll take because then we'll get off also.
Okay, so how to deal with a partner who never accepts his or her mistake?
Well, it's a perspective, isn't it? At the end of the day. So
Okay.
we have to understand our partner, and understanding comes with investing a lot of time with each other. So directly going and telling somebody, "ये तुम्हारी गलती है, मेरी गलती नहीं है," that doesn't work, and it should
Okay.
not be like that also. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so is
Yes. So
cheating
sit down
forgivable?
instead of see blame game will never help solve a problem. That's
Okay.
yeah.
That's okay, ma'am. So, is cheating forgivable? Let's say a person cheats. What